All right, the FBI now wants you to tattle on your friends and family. That's real. If you think they may hold extreme views about the government, then you should be calling the feds. The button men from the downtown agency. They tweeted, quote, family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to violence. Help prevent homegrown violent extremism, learn how to spot suspicious behaviors, and report them to the FBI. Sounds a lot like East Germany in the bad old days, speaking of the 70s. Do we really need our nosy Aunt Beth helping the feds with all the snooping? What could possibly go wrong? Here with me now, Liberty Guard Chairman, attorney, and former Georgia Congressman, Bob Barr. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Kennedy.
So this is a bad idea. You know, it's like whenever law enforcement is asking civilians to do their work for them, they've abdicated responsibility, and I don't trust the motivation.
This is a really, really, really bad idea, Kennedy, and it's bad. It's made worse, particularly when you look at some of the other things that the FBI has been doing recently. There was a report that you probably saw that came out about a year ago that concluded, this is by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, that the FBI had engaged in a massive warrantless collection of information on U.S. citizens from the National Security Agency without a warrant. We now know also that the Department of Justice and the FBI are paying millions of dollars to an outside company, a contractor, to help them gather and database information on those who were in the Capitol on January 6th. Now, this is really getting out of hand, Kennedy. It's like I hate to say it, but it's like this administration has declared war on half of the American people. It can't get worse, but it will.
Yeah, and it's sad because the Department of Defense, which used to back up people in the armed forces, they now look at them with a level of suspicion that I haven't seen in my lifetime. And it's essentially, you know, if you vote Republican or Libertarian, there's a much greater chance that you are an enemy of the state. And they've been pretty overt with that language.
Listen, my lifetime extends a lot longer than yours, and I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Our Department of Defense, for example, that you just mentioned, seems far more concerned about going after Americans in this country than fighting our enemies abroad. And now we have an Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who has a chip on his shoulder the size of Atlanta, Georgia, who is mad at Republicans and is doing everything he can, really, whether it's lawful or not, to get back at President Trump and conservatives. And that's why we're seeing the Department of Justice using these underhanded tactics to go after conservatives in this country.
Yeah, they are. And they're saying, you know, that essentially that all of these homegrown extremists are white supremacists and they will stop at nothing to tear the country down. Meanwhile, if you're an Antifa, they say that you're fine, that it's just an idea, even if you're trying to kill federal officials by setting a federal building on fire and not letting the fire department go in to put out the flames.
Well, what we saw, for example, last year when we saw Antifa and others terrorizing people and businesses and invading federal buildings and federal facilities, we now know that the Department of Justice has very quietly been dropping those charges, even as it now is bringing more and more hundreds of prosecutions against Americans for January 6th.
Yeah. So a bit of an imbalance here. It's not going to get better anytime soon unless some real liberty-minded people run for and win higher office. Bob Barr, thank you so much.
Sure.
All right, coming up, actor and comedian John Leguizamo criticized